been discussing about journey of Gopakumara from material world to spiritual world. Last week we discussed, last couple of weeks we have been discussing on this topic. He crossed all the layers of universe, and then he entered Brahmajyoti. He crossed Brahmajyoti also, then he entered Sadashiva Loka. Then after taking instructions from Lord Shiva and also the other Vaishnavas who were coming from Vaikuntha planets, so he came back to earthly planet Brajbhumi and then practiced Naveda Bhakti, which is most important for a sadhaka to enter the spiritual world. So after continuous practice of Naveda Bhakti and also taking instructions from his spiritual master Jayanta, whose identity was revealed by the residents of Vaikuntha planets. So after taking instructions from his spiritual master and practicing Naveda Bhakti and hearing glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, for a long time he got an opportunity to go to Vaikuntha planets, a special aeroplane along with the various personalities who came and took Gopakumara to Vaikuntha planets. So we have seen how Gopakumara has experienced the supreme bliss in Vaikuntha planets, and Vaikuntha planet where he meets Lord Narayana, and the extreme happiness he experiences. But at the same time, we also noticed that a feeling of dissatisfaction arose in his heart because he was not able to experience the pastimes of Lord in two-handed form as he heard in Rajadham, Rajabhumi. So with a deep kind of dissatisfaction, he meets Narada Maharshi in Vaikuntha planet. So he also experiences that Lord Narayana disappears sometimes from Vaikuntha planet, and also the similar experiences he had wherever he has seen Lord's different incarnations, different expansions in various planets, starting from even heavenly planet where he meets Supreme Lord, and also he takes darshan of Lord Garbhodaksha Vishnu in Brahmaloka. There also he experiences that Lord disappears sometimes from that abode. The similar experiences he had in even Vaikuntha planets also. So it was a kind of a very puzzling for them, for Gopakumara, that he could not understand why Lord is disappearing and what is it he is doing, where he is going. None of the residents of that Dham, even Vaikuntha Dham also, they were ready to explain him. So he was completely perplexed. So he asked all these things to Narada Maharshi, but Narada Maharshi will not reveal the confidential, the secret behind the disappearance of Lord from the various abodes. He reserves that in his next destination. So since he was completely morose in Vaikuntha planet, Narada Maharshi, though he was not ready to give further direction, guidance, but seeing the unhappiness and determination of Gopakumara, Narada Maharshi reveals that further from here there is abode of Lord Ramachandra, Ayodhya is there, and also from there Dwaraka can reach, because these two are provinces of Vaikuntha planets. special province of Vaikuntha planets, so no need of a permission from the Lord Narayana. So you can go and maybe you can find solution for your feeling, the morose, whatever you are having, carrying in your heart. So he takes permission from Narada Maharshi and goes to Ayodhya. There he meets Lord Ramachandra, though he was in two-handed form, but still Gopakumara could not feel that satisfaction, that happiness, because of being a Brajavasi, and he has the kind of a love towards Supreme Personal Godhead, which was not allowing him to be satisfied with the pastimes or the Lord's different forms. Even in Ayodhya also he was not happy. So by taking permission from Lord Ramachandra, he goes to Dwaraka. So that's where we ended the session last week. Now let us see what Gopakumar experiences in his journey, in his visit to Dwaraka. So in this chapter, Gopakumara meets Lord of Dwaraka, Supreme Lord Krishna, and also hears the glories of Gokula and also Goloka. Now, what is the difference between Gokula and Goloka is what we are going to understand from Narada Maharshi in this chapter. So, Narada Maharshi also explains the glories of Rajagopis, the mood of Rajagopis, which is most essential for one to cross Dwaraka and go beyond. So now Gopakumara reaches Dwaraka. He experiences the abundance of sweetness that he never saw anywhere before. So even in Vaikuntha or Ayodhya, where Gopakumara has visited and from there he is coming to Dwaraka. Dwaraka being a special province of Vaikuntha planets, so it is not a different harm as such, it is a part of Vaikuntha, spiritual world. So there he meets Yadavas and other residents of Dwarkadham. When he sees Yadavas, he was completely mesmerized, completely blissful with a kind of opulence and beautiful bodies, and the way they have decorated their body was completely mesmerized, and felt so happy that even he forgot to pay obeisances to them. But Dwarkavasis, they recognized Gopakumara being son of Gopa. So because they have a lot of respect and they worship Brajavasis. This is the nature of Dwarka Vasis. So they embraced Gopakumara and they took him to a beautiful gigantic palace. And when they enter the palace, it's a one beautiful, huge hall wherein the Lord is sitting in his two-handed form. That hall is none other than the Sudharma hall, which we have discussed. For those who attended the previous sessions, they remember Sudharma hall, which was in Swarga, heavenly planets, under control of Indra. Then Lord Krishna brought the Sudharma hall along with the Parijata tree to Dwaraka, an earthly planet. The same Sudharma hall is eternally exists in Dwaraka. So glory of Sudharma hall we discussed, we'll not go into that again. So there Gopakumara sees Supreme Lord Krishna, the most opulent, wearing a most opulent ornaments and garments. He was sitting on a golden throne, studded with jewels and all kinds of opulent uh, jewels and stones fitted on the throne on which Lord Krishna was, Supreme Lord Krishna was sitting. And the glorification of Lord Krishna was given by Gopakumara to Mathura Brahmana. Actually, the whole thing, Gopakumara was explained to Mathura Brahmana, those who remember the whole journey. Lord was very handsome. He has a very extremely handsome personality, handsome body. And he was carrying the sweetness, Madhurya, which is much, much more than what Gopakumara has experienced, the personality of Lord in Ayodhya and Vaikuntha. And Lord is being worshipped with a beautiful paraphernalia. All the Yadavas, all the major, the chief of Yadavas and other residents of Dwaraka, they were all sitting around Supreme Lord. Explained that Vasudeva was there, Balarama, Akrura, all these personalities were sitting there and glorifying Krishna. So Lord is being worshipped there by many of his devotees. Garuda was glorifying Supreme Personality of Godhead, reciting so many slokas and songs. And Uddhava was massaging the lotus feet of the Lord. When Gopakumara seen all this, he was completely overwhelmed with pure love. And the moment he experiences the beauty of the Lord, when he sees the beauty of the Lord, he was completely in blissful stage and got fainted. The Lord notices Gopakumara and he tells Uddhava to bring him closer to him. Uddhava carries Gopakumara and places Gopakumara's head at the feet of Krishna. The Lord touches the body of Gopakumara and he comes into consciousness. The moment Lord Krishna sees Gopakumara, he was, one hand, Gopakumara was in complete ecstasy. Now it is Lord's turn. Lord was completely in the ecstasy. Tears started coming out of his eyes. He took the flute from Gopakumara because, as we've seen in the previous episodes also, Lord has discarded flute while he was in Dwaraka. The reasons also we discussed. Now, when the Lord, even in eternal spiritual world also, eternal world also, in Dwaraka, Lord was not carrying the flute. For the same reason, because the mood of Dwaraka is totally different. So he takes the flute from, because wherever Gopakumara goes, he was always going with the same attire of Gopa. And he was carrying a flute in his hand. So when Lord sees a flute, he takes the flute from Gopakumara and started crying. He started remembering his renowned pastimes. He remained silent for some time and then he asked Gopakumara, "Is all well with you, my dear Gopakumara? Is the place you come from is free from all misfortune?" So indirectly, Lord is telling us that there is no question of any misfortune to the place where the devotee resides or to the devotees who are completely surrendered to the Lord. Though he was asking him, how are you? How is your health? Is everything is fine with you? So indirectly is telling us that everything will be fine for my devotees. Because they are beyond all these material disturbances and problems. So when Uddhava seen the Lord in the state where he was completely he was in tears looking at Gopakumara and the flute. Uddhava consoled Lord. Lord could not speak anything more. And the Uddhava signaled Lord that he just indicated through his eyes and hand gestures that all other great personalities are sitting here. You should not behave like this, my Lord. Because all other personalities like Vasudeva and all these great people are sitting, they cannot understand your emotions. So he indicated to Supreme Lord, and Lord kept silent, and he got up from his throne and he started going into his palace from Sudharma hall. Now all the queens, the 16,108 queens, along with the lords, mothers, both Yashoda as well as Rohini, Rohini. So they all went inside along with the Supreme Lord into his private palace. After reaching there, Krishna embraces Gopakumara while tears flowing from his eyes. Lord and both Lord as well as Gopakumara were in complete ecstasy. They are immersed in the, it's explained by Sanatana Goswami that they immersed in the great ocean of bliss. Gopakumara was not aware what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say. He was completely in stage of ecstasy. No words were coming from his mouth. Gopakumara thought at this stage that all my desires of life were fulfilled. Now here is the Lord in 200 form, the same personality who came from Vrindavan, went to Mathura, from there to Dwaraka, an earthly planet. So Gopakumara said, I reached my destination. He says, all my desires were completely fulfilled. Even the happiness is explained by Acharyas here, that happiness one gets through meditation is better than happiness in the material world. Happiness of getting into liberation, where Gopakumara experienced, is much more greater than the happiness one gets in the meditation. And millions of more times of happiness one experiences in Vaikuntha planet, where Lord Narayana was there, the abode of Lord Narayana. Millions of more happiness he experienced in Ayodhya, and Dwaraka, the kind of happiness, he thought that this cannot be explained at all. So that's what he tells Mathura Brahmana. He said, I can't explain the kind of happiness and bliss I experienced in Dwaraka. So there, Lord feeds Gopakumara personally with his own hands while having. So it is a Mahaprasad of Lord he is feeding to Gopakumara, and the same hand he is also eating. So Mahaprasad of Gopakumara, Lord is eating. And Gopakumara remained in the Uddhava's palace for a very long time and receives abundant mercy of Supreme Lord. Every day he tasted Mahaprasad directly from Lord's hands. Now, days went on, the residents of Dwaraka were astonished to see Gopakumara in the covered boy attire. They say that, boss, you are in Dwaraka. This is not the earthly planet. What kind of a dress you are wearing? Here, the opulence of Dwaraka is much greater than Vaikuntha. It is not good to be like a covered boy here. You must have attire of like all of us were wearing, very highly opulent, because seeing opulent garments and ornaments we wear, it is not for our pleasure, our satisfaction, it is for the pleasure of Supreme Lord. So they request, in fact, the opulences come to the people, residents of Dwaraka by themselves. But Gopakumara rejected. He says that I am happy to remain like this. But over a period of time, Gopakumara developed feeling of dissatisfaction. And when he seen the Supreme Lord with so much of opulence, so much of very wearing opulent garments and ornaments and very opulent paraphernalia being worshipped with, Gopakumara felt ashamed. And he also sees that sometimes Lord appears in his four-handed form, even in Dwaraka, and sometimes he disappears from that place, as he was experiencing in his previous visits to other abodes. And sometimes Lord goes to Pandavas. This is a very beautiful thing which was explained by Sanatana Goswami. Pandavas were there in Dwaraka, very close to Dwaraka, another province. There in the earthly planet, Pandavas were in Hastinapur, where Lord was going frequently to see them and coming back. But here it was just another province. So he goes there, he meets Pandavas, he takes care of them, he comes back. So whenever Lord leaves Dwaraka and goes out or disappears from that place, as it was happening in other abodes, Gopakumara's heart started feeling dissatisfaction. And that dissatisfaction started growing in his heart. Added to that, he also felt that he is not able to see the Lord with the pastimes what he performed in Vrindavan. So in that dissatisfaction, one day Narada Maharshi comes to Dwaraka, and when he sees Gopakumara, he is completely astonished. He says, I seen you this kind of a dissatisfaction everywhere, wherever I met you. Vaikuntha planet, there can't be any dissatisfaction, the hearts of residents. But I saw you with a lot of dissatisfaction in Vaikuntha planet, and Ayodhya also same, and now Dwaraka. What more you want? You are seeing the Lord in his two-handed form. Do you think anything more exists beyond this? No. Why are you like this? So Gopakumara reveals his heart, that why he feels so much of dissatisfaction. Because the kind of a prema which is in the heart of Gopakumara, he was following the footsteps of Rajavasis. And the mood of Rajavasis is totally different. Even Rajavasis, we have seen, we understood in the from Srimad Bhagavatam, that sometimes even Lord Krishna, for them is not Lord Krishna, for them is a Krishna. He appears in the four-handed form. They didn't care about him. They were asking him, hey, where is my Krishna? They know he is Vishnu, he is Lord Narayana. They asked, they paid obeisances to him. He said, but they were not bothered about him. He said, where is my Krishna? Where is our Krishna? So they don't care about other forms of the Lord. So when Gopakumara reveals his heart and also asks the same question which he asked Narada before, and also it was carrying in his heart that why Lord is disappearing from all these abodes. And also he asks Narada, how come I seen you in all other abodes? I seen you in Goloka, I seen you in heavenly planets, I seen you in Vaikuntha, I seen you in Ayodhya, everywhere I seen you, and even in Dwaraka. How it is possible? The same body, same personality. How it is possible? Then Narada explains, he reveals one secret that he says, like Supreme Personality of Godhead, present same time in different places because Lord expands. Lord expands into different forms for a specific purpose. He says, Narada says, we, servants of the Lord, also remain in separate forms in different places. This is a beautiful, the confidential secret which Narada reveals to Gopakumara. He says, as the Lord is eternal, even devotees are also eternal. Because we are all Satchit Ananda Vigrahas. The reason why we expand into different forms in different abodes, Narada is there here also, in Vaikuntha also, in heavenly planets also. Of course, he was moving all over the places, and also Garuda, he was there in Vaikuntha with Narayana. He was there in, he's there in here also in Dwaraka also. Same way Hanuman, he was there in Kimpurusha Varsha in earthly planet, and also in Ayodhya he's seen. How it is possible? So he explains, Narada explains that, say, because we also have Satchidananda bodies like Lord, we also eternal like Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the pleasure of the Lord, we assume different forms to serve him in different abodes as per his wishes, as per his desires. And he says, my dear Gopakumara, you also having Satchidananda Vigraha, but why are you not abandoning your old boy nature, not only attire, nature, because his nature is to see the Lord in Gopala form. So why are you not, why are you thinking that there is something beyond his existence? No, this is the ultimate, this is Lord is there. All those are his pastimes when he was a small boy. Now he is grown up, he is a king. How can you expect him to become a old boy and do all these pastimes? No. Then he tells Uddhava. Uddhava was, because Gopakumara was residing in Uddhava's palace. So Uddhava was there. Narada tells Uddhava, my dear Uddhava, see this coward boy. He is searching for something which even you and me cannot achieve. Can't even imagine achieving such a destination. This coward boy's failure to achieve what he wants to experience has caused him a great grief. He is so morose because of this. You, my dear Uddhava, you are a great well-wisher of Vrajavasis. Because we see in Bhagavatamrta also how Uddhava goes to Vrindavan and stays there for a very long time. Even though purpose of his visit was fulfilled, he couldn't leave the company association of Vrajavasis. He stays there for a long time. So Narada is asking Uddhava that you are a well-wisher of Vrajavasis. So please explain this God boy. And if at all it is possible for him to achieve this sadhya, which is ultimate destination goal, you please explain what is sadhana. You need to follow that to achieve that rare destination. Then Uddhava tells Narada that this Gopakumara, my dear Narada, is Vrajavasi. He is superior to all of us. So then Narada says, please instruct him how to attain his goal. Then Uddhava says, tells Narada that, my dear Narada, I am Kshatriya. I am not qualified to give instructions in presence of a great personality like you. You are a wonderful Vaishnava. Being a Kshatriya, I cannot give any instructions in your presence. So please forgive me. Then Narada started laughing. He says, what is this, Uddhava? All these varnas and ashramas are in material world. Why are you talking about this Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishnava? Everybody is a Vaishnava here in spiritual world. Even in spiritual world, also coming to spiritual world also, you did not abandon your identity as Kshatriya. What is this? Then Uddhava started laughing. He says, what about me, my dear Narada? Even Krishna did not abandon his caste identity. He feels he's a Kshatriya, he's a Gopala, and he always want to protect the essence of Dwaraka from demons. Of course, all these leelas were happening even in Dwaraka also, in the eternal Dwaraka also. There were demons come and they create disturbances and Krishna kills them. All these pastimes continue to happen. So Krishna assumes the role of Kshatriya there. Says, my Lord Krishna has not abandoned. What about me? Then Narada was so ecstatic to hear the glories of Krishna. Even in spiritual world, he is behaving like this. Then he says, Uddhava, my dear Uddhava, actually, you are exhibiting your humility. That you cannot give any instructions in presence of in my presence. So that is your humility, my dear Uddhava. This humility is required for bhakti. So this is a message he is giving to Gopakumara and also to us, that this kind of humility is must for us, for mainly the sadhakas. And Narada being so compassionate, unable to tolerate the dissatisfaction of Gopakumara, he gives further instructions to him. He says, your worshipable Lord, the form of the Lord which is there in your heart, he actually resides in Goloka. Now he is revealing the secret. This Goloka is very, very, very far from this Vaikuntha planets. Very far from this Dwaraka. Very, very far. That Goloka consists of Rajabhumi and Mathura. There Lord performs all these pastimes which you are always meditating. Then he says, who can go to Goloka? Says, it is not easy. This destination can be attained only by those who follow footsteps of Rajavasis. Rajavasis carry selfless love in different moods of worship. They worship Lord in Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya bhavas. Though the ultimate bhava of Rajavasis is Madhurya, there are several personalities, so many personalities even in Rajavasis worshipping in different moods according to what they want to reciprocate with the Lord. And all these bhavas, be it Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya, the mood must be free from all the faults of karma, jnana and vairagya. No tinge of any of these karma, jnana and vairagya should be there in our loving relationship with the Lord in different moods. Now, question which may arise in our heart, which Gopakumara explains. Narada tells Gopakumara, though Gopakumara did not ask a question, but he explains to Gopakumara. Gopakumara explains to Madhura Brahmana also, and we are hearing why Goloka is very, 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 very far from Vaikuntha. Narada explains that those who worship the Lord in Vaishwarya Bhava cannot achieve this abode, because the prema, the love of the pure love of Godhead, is very, very transcendental, which is devoid of all this mood of awe and reverence and all the opulences. Opulence is there, but that is not dominating. Only the prema, the love of Godhead, is dominating in that abode. And they're full of sweetness, madhurya, not adulterated with any of worldly material love and lust. Because Vaikuntha is a place of opulence, prema, the love, is not possible. Everybody worships the Lord with awe and reverence in Vaikuntha planet. In Vaikuntha, there is a limited sweetness. Ayodhya is much more opulent than Vaikuntha. Dwarka is much, much more opulent than Ayodhya. So, Narada says that Goloka is placed very, very, very far from all these planets. And the residents of these Vaikuntha planets, including Ayodhya and Dwaraka, they are not aware of existence of Goloka Vrindavan. There, the limitless sweetness exists. Mathura and Gokula on earthly planet, very beautiful secret he reveals here. The Mathura and Gokul in earthly planet, they are much more superior to Vaikuntha in spiritual world. Of course, he says that Mathura, Gokula and Dwaraka in earthly planet, they are superior to Vaikuntha planet, in the eternally exist Vaikuntha planet. Now here the author explains us the difference between Gokula and Goloka. Technically, there is no difference between Gokul and Goloka. When Goloka appears in this material world, in earthly planet, it is called Gokula. The same Gokula eternally exists in the form of Goloka. So that's all, only difference there. Rest all, everything same to same. Residents of Goloka Vrindavana, they experience a special pleasure, the sweet with the sweet pastimes of the Lord Krishna, and they only can realize the sweetness of Krishna. Now, Narada reveals another secret of the question asked by Gopakumara, why Lord disappears from different abodes. He disappears, even in Ayodhya also he experiences, though we not discuss that. Ayodhya also he experiences that, Dwaraka also he experienced, and he also experienced in Vaikuntha planet. Narayana got disappeared, and even Brahmaloka when he went, Garbhodakasha Vishnu suddenly disappears, and whichever abode he goes, he has seen the disappearance of the Lord from that place. So now Narada reveals that secret. Very beautiful point explained by Acharyas here. Krishna appears in Dwapar Yuga by himself only once in every 28 cycle of yugas. in seventh Manvantara. We know this. We heard this in different from different scriptures in the past and different lectures we discussed. We heard only once in every day of Brahma, in the 28th cycle of yugas, in seventh Manvantara, which is currently going on, Vaivasvata Manvantara, Lord Krishna appears by himself. Himself means himself. He comes directly from Goloka and comes here to this. Now, we may talk about one universe, one Brahma. There are millions of Brahmas are there. Everywhere this must be happening. That is not explained here, but now, since we are talking about only one universe, one Brahma. Now, when Lord appears, Lord personally descends from Goloka. Now, what happens? All the other expansions, incarnations, all these personalities from in a different abodes, they enter into body of Krishna. So Krishna comes as Krishna himself to this material world only once in a day of a Brahman, every 28th cycle of yugas at the end of Dwapara Yuga, towards the end of Dwapara Yuga, which happens in the seventh Manvantara period, which is current Manvantara, Vaivasvata Manvantara. So that day, that time, all the expansions and incarnations of the Lord enters into the body of Krishna. So Krishna appears in this material world and all these abodes become vacant. So this is the reason why Gopakumara experienced sometimes Lord disappears from the abode. So this is very beautifully explained, very detailed explanation was given to cut short this. Narada explains the confidential pastime of this Lord. Why? Because when Lord appears in this material world as Krishna himself, he does not do anything except enjoying with his devotees. Rest all the things, killing of demons and all, were taken care by other expansions and incarnations within the body of Krishna. And incidentally, it's also explained that in the same yuga, when Krishna appears in this material world once in the day of Brahma, that Kali Yuga, because Krishna appears in Dwapara Yuga, and that next immediately Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears. So we are so fortunate that in our time, we have Supreme Lord Krishna appearing by himself and giving this knowledge to us through Arjuna to us. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared the same period. So fortunate we are. So we should utilize this opportunity. Make sure that why are we reading about this glories of Goloka Dham? Goloka Mahatmya, because we must develop this desire, develop the attachment to go to this place, ultimate destination. And it's not easy, as Narada will be explaining. Now, Narada reveals the hidden glories of Goloka. He says, now Goloka, not Gokula, Goloka is, now he is giving a teaser to Gopakumara. Now, before Gopakumara goes to Goloka, he is giving a teaser of how it is, the glories of Goloka. There he says, Krishna exhibits the highest opulence and highest kindness and beauty and pure love for his devotees, and performs very sweet pastimes. He fulfills the desires of every resident of Goloka. Their opulence is to the core, highest opulence, beyond what Gopakumar experienced in Dwaraka and other abodes. Even the trees in Goloka, they are capable of fulfilling the desires of every one, but they do not exhibit any opulence. Because the whole reason behind, though opulence is there, extreme opulent place, the mood is, their mood is not to obstruct the mood of Lord. The Lord, though he is this place, and he himself is fully opulent personality, his mood is simple prema. So none of the residents, even in the Goloka Vrindavan itself, they don't want to obstruct the mood of Supreme Lord. Now, Narada goes on explaining so many things. He explains. It runs into more than 100 slokas. We don't have time to go through everything, but in a nutshell, we try to cover very few. And he says that Putana got the position of motherly nurse in Goloka Vrindavana, which he says, you are going to experience all this very soon, my dear Gopakumara. Why Putana got the position? She was a demon. She wanted to kill Lord as a child. She carried the instructions of Hamsa. She came to kill Lord. Why she got this position? So this we may get a doubt. Of course, many times we heard from great acharyas also that when Putana was feeding Krishna, she smeared the poison to her breast and she was trying to feed Krishna. That moment, what was the mood of Putana? She had a deep love towards Krishna, motherly love towards Krishna. She actually wanted to feed Krishna that particular moment. Though she came with a different intention. We all seen, even Dhruva Maharaj's case also, he worshipped the Lord with a different intention. But when the Lord appeared, he totally changed. He said, I don't want anything. I don't want it. I want only your devotional service. So that was the mood of even Putana. When she was feeding, she came with the intention to kill, but when she was literally feeding Krishna, she developed that love towards Krishna as a mother. So she got the motherly position. Now, the message what we get is, even the personalities like Putana, demons, and not only Putana, Narada explains that all the relatives of Putana, who all subsequently came to kill Krishna, everybody got liberated. The personalities like Putana can get the position of mother in Goloka. Why can't we? Is a question which Narada is asking us indirectly. Why are we wasting our time? This developing this love, pure love for Krishna, it can take a moment of time. It can take millions and billions of lifetimes. As Putana experiences, within a fraction of moment, she got this motherly love. This can be developed within us, within this lifetime. It is definitely possible. So, Narada explains that Lord reciprocates in Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya Bhavas to various devotees in Goloka Vrindavan. In Shanta, even Shanta also, though the prominent, this one was given for other 4 moods, Bhavas, even there are devotees in Goloka Vrindavana who are in Santa Rasa, like various cows, birds, trees, kunjas, where Lord performs, they want to serve the Lord. So Lord enjoys their bhava and gives his association to them. they may not be reciprocating because they are in Santarasa. But Lord reciprocates. So, since we are not able to have that loving relationship with the Lord, so this rasa is not recommended by acharyas. So then in Sakya Bhava, there are so many Gopas and other friends in Golak Vrindavana, in Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya, Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, Madhurya, Gopis, they are experiencing and exchanging loving relationship with the Lord in Madhurya Bhava. So Narada explains that the glories of Brajavasis is very, very difficult to explain, my dear Gopakumara. The kind of pastimes which Lord has performed in Vrindavan, earthly planet, as well as in Golak Vrindavan also. Never ever anybody did this kind of a pastimes, including the Lord himself. He performed so many sweet pastimes in Braja. There's the ocean of nectar in which a whole Brajavasis are drowned themselves. That is the beauty of the pastimes. And here Narada explains the whole childhood pastimes, right from Putana, all the pastimes, more than 100 slokas, he explains. And finally he says that residents of Vaikuntha, even including Dwaraka, they are not capable of accepting bhava of Braja. But Dwarkavasis, they understand. They may not accept that Brajavasis are much more superior, but they have a lot of respect towards Brajavasis. So Narada goes on explaining that Brajavasis, they must be knowing some special mantras, how to captivate Krishna. Or they may be using some special herbs which they find in forest of Vrindavana. Yes, they know special mantras. In fact, Acharya explained that mantra is pure love. Nothing else. Ahaitukya pratiha. Selfless love. So it's explained that the Brajavasis, they know him only as a son of Nanda Maharaj. They don't care about his opulence and supremacy. He explained by Narada that Krishna is actually expert, is a master in pastimes of separation. By creating this pastimes of separation, he developed more love in the hearts of Brajavasis. His pastimes are unconceivable, my dear Gopakumara. Sometimes even I get frightened with this. Because he disappears from that place and all the Brajavasis, in separation, they become more ecstatic. What kind of pastime it is? In fact, Krishna did not captivate Brajavasis. He did not bewilder them. They bewildered him because of their mood, Madhurya Bhava, feeling of separation. I had to, when Krishna appeared in this material world as himself, I had to go personally visit him in the Braja when he was a small boy. And I reminded him that, my dear Lord, what are you doing here? Why are you wasting your time here? A lot of things are waiting for you in Mathura. You must go and kill Kamsa and all these things. Please. So I had to remind him because he completely lost in the three pastimes with the Brajavasis. So Narada says that his pastimes in Gokula and Goloka are non-different. Then he asks a question to Gopakumara. I am astonished, my dear Gopakumara, how could you develop so much of love and anxiety to see him or to have this pastimes with him as a Gopala? Attaining that abode, that goal, sadhya, is very, very rare. I am warning you again. And sadhana is very difficult. How can you go there? How it is, you think it is possible for you? He says, ordinary species don't even know what is beneficial for them. Now he's comparing different levels, gradations of people. Ordinary species, they don't even know what is beneficial for them. For them, eating, mating, sleeping, defending is what they. Humans are capable of deliberating on them. They have intelligence to deliberate what is good for me, what is not good for me. Unfortunately, many of these humans, they are so greedy for wealth and they're controlled by lust. So, very few of these humans follow the religious rituals, but unfortunately, most of them, they focus on promoting to heavenly planets. They don't want anything beyond that. Out of very few of such religious people, very few aspire for liberation. And very few of those aspiring for liberation engage in bhakti. Again, very few of those who are engaged in bhakti reach the stage of bhava. It's not easy. And very, very, very rare that some of them develop prema with gopi bhava. Now, my dear Gopakumara, you can understand this is extremely rare. Unfortunately, I am not qualified to describe them. Because whenever I see these Brajavasis, I get bewildered. He says, I went and asked for the dust of the feet for Krishna's headache. They happily gave, said, no problem, I am ready to go to hell. I can't understand, I'm so bewildered. Now, he says, now Narada started feeling so much of ecstasy, would not speak anything further. Then he indicated, Uddhava, please carry on. Uddhava tells only one thing. Says, I offer my pranams to the dust of the lotus feet of these gopis. The mercy these gopis received from Krishna never experienced even by Lakshmi Devi in Vaikuntha planets. That's all he says, and he keeps quiet because he could not talk anything beyond that when he remembers the glories of Brajavas. Narada recovers from his emotion. He says, even Rukmini could not attain the minute portion of Gopi's fortune. Now, what to talk about of other queens of Dwarka? Now, because since they're in Dwarka, now Narada is indirectly saying it is beyond their fortune. Even when this Uddhava went there to Vrindavan, he also completely immersed in the ecstasy of Gopi Bhava. That he forgot about Krishna and he stayed there for a very long time. My dear Gopakumara, this subject, whatever I told you, I discussed, is very, very, very confidential, to be kept very secret. This must be spoken only among saintly devotees, like all of you, my dear devotees who are assembled here. Narada says, I am not qualified to reveal because I never experienced this. So I am telling you very little to you. I cannot reveal all the secrets because I myself don't know. I get bewildered. But one thing I can confirm, my dear Gopakumara, that from Dwaraka, it is impossible for anyone to achieve that position, because everybody here are in mode of opulence. The sadhana required to go to Goloka Vrindavana is not possible in Dwaraka. So I will tell you one secret. He says, this was actually astonishing, confidential thing. He says, very near from here, there is a Jagannath Puri, which was not known to many of the devotees, even in ISKCON also. Jagannath Puri exists in spiritual world. It is not very far. Lord performs so many opulent pastimes in Jagannath Puri, along with his brother and sister. These pastimes, this about Jagannath Puri is very, very dear to Krishna. Go there, try. Maybe you will achieve your goal, but I'm telling you that is not the ultimate place. I'm warning you, you will not be satisfied, because your mode is something different beyond that. If you are not satisfied there, practice sadhana there. So see the difference what he is Narada explaining here. It is very, very subtle message for us that Dwaraka is so opulent place that practicing that sadhana to reach Goloka is not possible in Dwaraka, because everybody is in mode of awe and reverence. The king is there, but in Jagannath Puri, though Lord is being worshipped with a lot of opulence, but the mood is Dasya. Mood is totally different. So there you can do your sadhana bhakti. And by performing the sadhana in Jagannath Puri, by perfecting yourself, you may reach Goloka Vrindavan. This is sadhana bhakti is very important, must. Finally, to reach the stage of bhava and prema. We seen in the scripture is mentioned, one who Navida Bhakti and different stages of Bhakti are explained. So there, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivrutti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava and Prema. So this is not possible in Dwaraka. He says that love can be achieved by following any of Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. But Vraja Prema, which is pure Mahabhava, which is beyond Prema stage, can arise in the heart by only following the footsteps of Vrajavasis. And he says that in this Prema, the mood of Vrajavasis is explained, very beautifully explained by Narada Maharshi and Sanatana Goswami here. One who is in the Prema. So from this we can understand how the separation, the feeling of separation of gopis. He says the cool water of Yamuna is like a flames of forest fire for them. When they touch the waters of Yamuna, they feel like it is the flames of forest fire, and the flames appear to be like a coolest cool Yamuna water. So they can't differentiate what is cool, what is hot. Poison looks like a nectar for them, and nectar looks like a poison. Death seems to be pleasure. Living seems misery. So, my dear Gopakumara, please do not ask me anything more about the mood of Vrajavasis. Don't even try to go into the deep of this topic. This mood of Vrajavasis cannot be explained by anybody. Now, here reveals another secret. Without revealing the pastime, he reveals another secret, that this mood of Vrajavasis can be experienced and can be understood only when there is an incarnation of combination of Radha and Krishna. Then only we can understand. So he is talking about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. Very beautifully explained by Sanatana Goswami in the his commentary, that Narada Maharshi has predicted that only when there is an incarnation of combination of Radha and Krishna, one can understand this. So this is an opportunity for us. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come and he has given this beautiful process, simple process of bhakti. By taking up this, one can easily reach to the ultimate stage of bhava and prema. That he says, now quickly go to Jagannath Puri, don't waste time here and perfect your activities. I may not achieve that perfection, but you can. So Narada Maharshi is accepting his failure, that he cannot achieve this perfection. But my dear Gopakumara, since you are having that pure love in your heart, you can achieve this sadhya, your destination. Now here Uddhava intervenes. He said he is unhappy because Uddhava is in Dwaraka. He cannot accept that Jagannath Puri is superior to Dwaraka. Then he says, no, Narada actually, no, Jagannath Puri and Dwaraka, they are very dear to Krishna. I understand this, but he exhibits the same supreme pastimes in both the places. In fact, Jagannath Puri, he is motionless. He is the Daru Brahma. One can achieve the same perfection there also and here also. So why are you pushing Gopakumara to go to Jagannath Puri? He will be more unhappy because going there, he will hear more pastimes about Braja, because there even Lord is suffering. Lord Jagannath is suffering there, the feeling of separation. So Gopakumara goes there, he also be in the same mood. So please don't send him. Instead, send him to Gokula, not to Jagannath Puri, where the ultimate, the bhava, prema arise in his heart. Basically, one should practice this sadhana, developing humility, perform ahaitiki apratihata devotional service. Then this mood of bhava and prema arises. Narada said, my dear Uddhava, you love Vrajavasis so much. You don't want to see these Vrajavasis suffering. So you are not advising Gopakumara to go to Jagannath Puri. Then he says, my dear Gopakumara, it is now very clear. The sadhana is very clear for your sadhya. You go back to Gokula and practice this sadhana bhakti and chant the holy names of the Lord. Then Uddhava said that, my dear Gopakumara, to go to any abode from here, Lord's permission is must. It is not like Vaikuntha, where Narada told that go to Ayodhya and Dwaraka, Lord's permission is not required. But this is the end of Vaikuntha. Of course, Jagannath Puri is there. But if you want to go from here, Lord's permission is required. But since you being the most dear devotee of the Lord, I am sure he will personally guide you to take you to Gokula. By hearing this, Gopakumara gets fainted immediately. While he was in that unconscious stage, he experienced that someone is carrying somewhere. And when he opens his eyes, he comes to Gokula. Now we'll start the chapter 6. We will not be able to complete. We'll try to enter Golok Vrindavana and then we'll stop Next week, we'll conclude both chapter 6 and chapter 7, small chapters, but beautifully explained about Goloka. So, in this chapter 6, Gopakumara goes to Goloka Vrindavana and meets Krishna, who gives him very special mercy, and Gopakumara joins the pastimes of Goloka. Now, Gopakumara comes to Vrindavan, Rajabhumi. He continues to chant, meditating the various pastimes of Vrindavana, practicing the devotional service with a perfectly with the association of the devotees, hearing glories of the Lord from the great Vaishnavas. So he started developing pure love in his heart. A beautiful explanation was given about the process of change which is happens in the heart of Gopakumara. During the process, he felt he was not sure whether he was happy or in sorrow. So it means one who reaches to the stage is coming closer to bhava. Whether he is happy or in misery, he is not able to understand. He feels he is in the midst of forest fire, but experiences very cool waters of Yamuna. Both feelings he developed in his heart. While he was practicing all this and experiencing this power, one day he gets fainted, and Krishna approaches him and wipes the dust from Gopakumara's body. Gopakumara opens his eyes and takes darshan of the Lord. Where the Lord was playing the flute, because now he is in Vrindavan. In Dwarka, he never, but now Lord is in Vrindavan. And suddenly, Lord disappeared. Now, Gopakumara got up, fully conscious again. When he got up, he realized that he was sitting in an airplane, which is moving faster than speed of mind. He crossed all the planets, layers, Brahmajyoti, Vaikunta, Ayodhya, Dwaraka. Finally, he reached a place, a beautiful place, which he never saw before. Now, the beautiful glorification of this place was given in this chapter. The cowherd boys were wandering in the forest. Elderly gopis were plucking some flowers, and all these personalities looks very extraordinary. Not opulent, wearing ornaments and opulent garments, but beautiful transcendental bodies. They look more beautiful than residents of Ayodhya and more opulent, appear to be more opulent than Dwaraka was. Though they were not wearing any, the body itself was giving so much of creating that opulence when to the Gopakumara. Gopakumara wanted to ask, my dear sir, what is this place? Where am I come? Where have I come? And who is the king of this land? Where is his palace? How can I meet him? Then, since they were very busy in their service, they didn't respond. Gopakumara went further ahead. He's seen a beautiful, extraordinary palace. See, also it is explained that Gopakumara, when he sees the cowherd boys, they were holding the stick they used to shoo away the other creatures or control the cows. The sticks were studded with the various gems, precious gems and gold, diamonds, even to their footwear. all the diamonds, and so they don't care about, they were using for inferior purposes. Goloka is ultimately opulent than any other dhams. The whole Goloka appears to be made of gold, but it looks very, very simple, looks very extraordinary. So when Gopakumara is seen this palace, where the gopis were churning butter, the singing songs, then Gopakumara asked an elderly man about whose palace is this, which place I have come. Then the elderly man explains that he laughs at Gopakumara and says, "My dear boy, this is Goloka Vrindavana. This is a palace of Nanda Maharaja." By hearing that, Gopakumara he never realized that he has come to Goloka Vrindavana. He gets fainted. After some time, he got up and come to the entrance of the palace. It is explained, Gopakumara himself tells this Madhura Brahmana that he experienced millions and millions of wonders, which Gopakumara says, I am not able to explain you, because, my dear Madhura Brahmana, you will not be able to understand, because whatever I say, you will try to compare with material opulence, material wonders. But what wonders I have seen in Goloka, in the entrance of the palace itself, millions and millions of wonders I have seen, which I am not able to glorify to you. So Gopakumara heard so many songs, and also people are crying. Then he thought, am I in material world or spiritual world? Why are people crying here? Then Gopakumara asked one elderly lady, where is Lord Krishna? Then she looked at Gopakumara. She said, I don't know any Lord here. We don't know which Lord Krishna you are talking about. But we know only Nandanandana Krishna. I don't know what you are talking about, Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality of God and Krishna. We don't know about that person. But we know only Nandanandana Gopala Krishna. He went to the forest along with Balrama and other Gopas to graze the cows. He is expected to return very soon. The elderly lady says, Gopakumara was in complete ecstasy. Then he starts hearing the enchanting vibration of the flute, which is being played by Krishna. And all the gopis and other residents of Goloka Vrindavana, they became mad with ecstasy. They came running out from their houses. It is explained by Sanatana Goswami that they were not even wearing the dress properly. Some they forgot upper part of the dress, some forgot the lower part of the dress, and some wore the dress ulta. They were putting ornaments in wrong place. And Gopakumara ran along with them to see Krishna. So we'll stop here. Since Gopakumara has entered Goloka Vrindavana, now next week we'll take association of Krishna along with Gopakumara and experience the various pastimes in Goloka Vrindavana and get benefited from the pastimes of Gopakumara. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, all the devotees. If you have any questions or comments, we can take for a few minutes. Then we'll conclude the session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, just can you difference between Goloka and Gokula, if I'm not wrong. Correct?
Yeah.
Once can you say the difference which you told, but I couldn't understand properly. Sir.
Mataji, come again. Can you come closer to mic?
Yeah, can you differentiate between Gokula and Goloka, Prabhu?
Mataji, Gokula and Goloka are non-different. When Goloka comes to this material world, it is called Gokul. Gokula is Goloka on earth. Goloka is in spiritual world, Gokula in material world. Otherwise, these two are non-different.
Okay, thank you.
Non-different, yeah. Hare Krishna, any questions, comments? So if there are no comments, can we conclude the session here? Thank you very much, all the devotees, for attending today's session. So, having experienced the entry into Goloka Vrindavana, let us meditate on this past time, the story what we heard, and keep ourselves prepared to have the association of Supreme Lord Krishna in the form of Gopala, which is a totally blissful and different experience for all of us. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरुदेव की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे।